Another week with the stitch journal and this page, which is shaping up really nicely. I hope you enjoyed seeing the woven roses come to life, and you're going to try and make your own in whichever colour rose that you desire. But for me, the yellow ones hold a special place. So today I'm going to put some extra flowers in here, and all I've done is drawn on a few lines, and it really is as simple as that. I've done a curvy line here, oops, I'll just put that out there, and one here, and 3 there, and then I've drawn a triangle and 3 sticks. And that is all I need to get the next flowers on, because they're going to be in a new stitch to the stitch journal. I have done it before within my flower book, but for the stitch journal that'll be the first time, and it's going to be Petal Stitch. But before I get round to the Petal Stitch, I'm going to put their stalks in, and I'm using this really nice fine pearl cotton. It's a variegated one. You could just be using 2 or maybe 3 strands of stranded floss, but I'm going to try this out. I have used it, but not for stems. Did I use it on here? No, I didn't. I think actually this is the first time I'm using this colour. So I'm going to put the stems in really easily with, oh, let me think. Am I going to do stem stitch? Or am I going to do, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do whipped back stitch, which is one of my super favourites. So I'm going to start right up at the flower. I'm going to do quite a small back stitch. It's maybe, well, it's less than 1/4 of an inch. And I'm just pushing up on the rear of my hoop so I can do it in one go. I'm going to go right down to where my stem comes out, and then what I'll do is I'll whip back up, and then I'll end up at the top for putting the calyx in of the flower. So there I'm right back into my wreath base. I'll go down to the bottom. I'll come back up alongside, just in there, and I'm going to whip back up the stitches. And I have got I should have said first, I've got a normal needle, what I'd call a normal needle, nice and slim, thick enough to get my pearl cotton through, but it's not particularly pointy. If it was, I would use, and I could use the eye of the needle, because I do not want to split those stitches going up. I just want to whip around them, and particularly in the pearl cotton, I'll just get a lovely twisted sort of a rope going up that line. So although stem stitch is nice, I think it just gets overused a bit. There are other nice stitches that you can do to make a fine line. This could have been whipped running stitch just the same, or it could have just been back stitch on its own. But there I've whipped right up to the top, and I'm going to use, what am I going to do the calyx? I'm going to do chain stitches. I'm going to go in at the bottom, take a stitch towards the right hand side, so I'm going to put a little triangular calyx in, and I'm going to keep coming back to the same point at the bottom each time. Maybe I'll put 3 chains in, just because I'm going to do 3 petals, and I'm quite happy that they go on top of one another if that's what they do. I'm not pulling them too tight, just going to let them be there. I'll have to do up and down on that one because it's the wrong angle for my left hand, so I'll just come up there, put my thread round and take that last stitch. So that's my calyx. When I get the blue lines off, that'll be a little bit more open, and I think I'm happy with that. So this one, I'll go to the bottom of here. Now, I'd have preferred to go down and up to do the calyx, but I hate wasting my thread behind, and I hate making big tangles. So I'm going to come the smallest stitch across, and I'll start my back stitch going up here. There's always things you can do to mitigate what, for me, it's not wasting my thread and not making a big long tangle at the back. I try and I don't make it as neat as I used to, I have to say, because when I very first learned as a child, my mum used to turn the work over to see how neat I'd been on the back, and so it was always important that the back was tidy. And I'm not really like that anymore. I don't like it to be super messy, but I'm not worried particularly. It's more, for me, it's about the wastage of the thread. If I feel that the thread's expensive and I don't just want to waste it by sort of stranding it along the back. Anyway, here I am again. So I'll do this calyx next, just by taking, it's about of 1/4 of an inch. Put my chain stitch in, down, back up to the bottom of the calyx. This might just be a shortish video really. So I think I just want to do these stitches as one thing. So sometimes I feel that videos are a bit too long. And yeah, just try and get plenty in, but to do them without too much editing, I sometimes think that YouTube actually penalises people who put long videos out. I'll have to have a word with K3N and see what her experience is, because I know she does really long videos. But I think that YouTube doesn't actually like it, and so your videos get less seen because people don't watch them in their entirety. They go in and out. But to YouTube, they think that somebody hasn't liked it, and so that it doesn't go out as far. So I'll have to see what she says. I'll have to ask her, because that's what I think happens. So I'm just going to start and do I'll try and edit less, but that means I'll probably do less instead of trying to get a whole thing done. But of course, it could all be just nonsense. Anyway, I've whipped back down there, and here I am going to this third one. So I shall do my back stitch. It's a funny old game, this YouTube thing, I have to say. Especially now I'm in my 2nd year, I can't actually believe it. It's just the weirdest thing. And so here I am going back to whip upwards. I just whip every stitch. Of course you could whip these in a different colour and then get quite a two-tone little stem, but this is already a variegated cotton and I'm loving the way it looks. Back up to the calyx. I put my 3 chain stitches in, or detached chain really is what they are, because I'm anchoring them down individually. I could actually do the 2 outside ones first, that's probably a better way. 2 outside ones and then the middle on top. They'll probably lie in better. Oops. Of course I've got a knot, haven't I? And I will just come up to the front there, and I'll weave down under this leaf and into there to save having to turn over onto the back. snip, and I'll do these two in just the same way. All my stems and calyxes are in. I've changed my thread to this really pretty purpley blue pearl cotton. It is a soft cotton rather than the very fine one I was using before. I would say maybe 4 strands of stranded maybe. So the stitch I'm going to do to put these flowers on is Petal Stitch, and I need the addition of a pin. And I hope you don't think this is too complicated, because it really isn't complicated at all, but it's quite an underused stitch and it's so pretty. There's no reason for it to be underused other than maybe people don't know about it very much. Sorry, I'm just tightening up my hoop there. So I'll start with this one here, and I'm going to do 3 petals, and each petal needs a little running stitch to be made with. So I'm going to actually do 3 back stitches here. So there's 1, and I'll come up and do another stitch there, and then I'll do a 3rd one. So for each stitch you need this little back stitch in. So there's my 3rd one. And I'm going to come up alongside the last stitch that I've done, just right at the edge of it. And now I'm ready to do the stitch. So I've put these little lines on, but actually I want the stitch to be a bit bigger. They were just an indication as to where I wanted them to be. And the point of my pin is going to go in at the length I would like my stitch to be. So I think I want it about, I don't know, that's maybe a centimetre. And the point can just come out anywhere. It's the beginning of the head of the pin that's important. That determines the length, and your point can just come out wherever it is. And so to make the stitch, I'm going to go around my pin like that, and then I'm going to just come through the stitch, through that back stitch. I'm not going through the fabric at all, and I'm going to pull that through. I'm not going to pull overly tight, but that thread's not going through the fabric. And I'm going to go around my pin again. I'll go around again, and again I'm going to come through that little back stitch. So just round in a circle really. Oh, I got caught up on the screw of my hoop. There we go. I'll pull that in, and I'm going to go around one more time and through the back stitch. So nothing difficult so far. Do I want a bigger one than that? I think maybe I do. I'm going to go around one more time, 4 times around my pin and through my back stitch. And this is what's going to turn it into a lovely stitch. So I take my pin out, and it releases the loops that you've just made. And so if I just push them up there and just take them out a bit, you'll be able to see that I've got 4 loops there. I hope you can see. And I'm going to put my needle through the 4 loops and pick them up. And you'll probably be doing them from the opposite way around. You'll be pulling in from here, but that's a bit awkward for me to show. So I'm going to put my needle right through, so I've got a hold of those loops now. And I take my thread, which is down here, and I'm going to loop it around my needle like that. And then I'm going to just pull my needle through, and the needle is going to make a knot right at the top. So I'm going to hold my stitches up and just gently pull, use my other hand to just pull that knot down, and now I've got all of those loops secured. and now I can stitch them down. So I don't necessarily want to stretch them right out. I just want to sort of lie them where I want them to go and just put my needle down. So I could make them really up like this. I could spread them right out. I'm just going to let it go into there. Put my needle down. And that's a lovely petal made. And I'm going to come up underneath the middle stitch, the middle of those back stitches. And then while I'm at it, I can just use the eye of my needle to just sort of arrange all those threads. And you'll see I've got a really nice little puffy stitch there. I'll do that again. I'm going to put my needle in, so I'm making it bigger than my little lines. Put my pin in, sorry. Pull the end of the pin through wherever you want. You can even put it back again if you're worried about the point, but it shouldn't get in your way, and you don't want to be pricking the hand that's under the hoop. I think really this can only be made in a hoop. You need the tension and you need your other hand to be underneath really. So this is definitely a hoop stitch. I want to push up a bit so that the point of my pin comes off the cloth, around my pin and through that middle back stitch. Like that. And I'll do my 4 stitches. That's one. I'm not pulling them tight at all. 1, because I'm on an awkward angle. There we go. 2, 3. You can see my variegated thread is going to make these look really lovely. And 4. And you can go around as many times as you like really. You could do something very full. If you had a very fine thread, you could go around as many times as you like. You could go around 10 times and you'd make very fine looking petals. But it's up to you, or I could just do it twice and make a thin petal. But the whole point really is to make these little puffy stitches. So I take my pin out and park it. I come into my loops from my left hand side. You'll definitely go into your loops from the right hand side, like that. In fact, I'll show you. I can manage to do it. So right-handed, you'll come in from the right and pick your stitches up. And then your knotting thread, your knotting stitch, will come from the front, around behind the needle, and then you'll pull through. But I'll have to do mine the left-hand way. So I'll go through, your knotting thread comes from the front, loops behind and pulls through. And as it pulls through, just ease it, watch what it's doing. And then at the very end, just use your thumbnail to sort of pull that stitch tight. And then you've got your next little stitch to go down. Now I'm going to put that right down on the middle to see where it goes, about there. And you just arrange them in like that. There we go. And I'm come up for my next one, so I'm coming up underneath the back stitch, or to the bottom, to the calyx side of the back stitch. I put my pin in, so I think I want this angled over, so I'm going to go there. Get my pin in and off I go. And you can use the eye of the needle if you want, but it's better just to use a needle with a blunt point. 1, 2, 3 and 4. pin out, pick up. They usually just lie there waiting for you. Around your needle and pull through for the knot. Tighten the knot and decide where you would like them to be and anchor them down. And then arrange them. Actually, I think I've taken that too short. I want to pull back up again. Just take that a bit further out. Don't want them stretched out. You don't want them too puffed, like too bended. Too much bend in them. You just want them enough that you can just have enough to arrange the threads to lie in a nice way, like that. And so I will come, I'm finished there. Actually, shall I finish off? I think I'll finish that off underneath and then I'll come back to do the next stitch. So I'll just finish here. So next one, I'll do this one here. So start with your little back stitches going in. And there's 1 and 2 and 3. Come up underneath the one you've just done and the pin in ready for the first stitch. And it doesn't matter which way around you do them, you can do them any way around you like, as long as you're consistent with each petal. So once you're going clockwise, go clockwise, and if you're going anti-clockwise, go anti-clockwise. Other than that, it doesn't matter. It's the same stitch regardless. That's my 3rd wrap. Here's my 4th one. It's just so pretty. It's so easy. Pin out, pick up my stitches, wrap my needle, pull up the knot. It's quick. And it's not just quick, it's pretty. That's the thing. Just sort of got my knot properly and then anchor myself down. Oh, it's gorgeous. Up for the middle one. It doesn't even need arranging, that one. It's all beautiful as it is. Next stitch. Don't want your point coming up at the bottom. You don't want the point in the way at all. I think I can get another petal out of here. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Pin out. Oh, I bloomin' well. What did I do? I pulled them as I took my pin out, which was a bit silly. Just make sure I've got my 4. And I haven't. Where's my 4th one gone? 1, 2, 3. I must have pulled a stitch out. I'll just go around my put my pin back in. I think I pulled my stitch out. I'll try that again. I'll do that again entirely, I think. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, pin out and park it, pick up your 4 stitches from the back, wrap your needle and pull through. Oops, yes I have, wrap your needle and pull through and anchor down and up for the next. Oh, pretty. And I think I haven't actually got enough for the next one, so I'll just go back down and finish that off. I've brought you in a bit to see if I can get a closer view. I'm set up for my last petal on this stitch. So actually I'll take that point a bit further away. And so I'm still wrapping, well for me I'm wrapping clockwise through the base back stitch, around the pin and through the base back stitch again. And another, and the last one, and put on as many really as you feel you need to make your stitch lovely. Definitely if you're going to do these bigger, use all 6 strands of embroidery floss, would be great. Pull my pin out, lift up those loops, and I go in from the first one to the last one. So I've got 4 on my needle. From the front, wrap your thread around so you can make a knot. Pull through, and you can just help that knot. I'm afraid there's no easy way of showing. I'm just picking up my stitch and just helping that knot tighten up. And then I will anchor it down. Just pull that a little bit forward and anchor it in there. And just arrange if I need to arrange anything. Sometimes they go in perfectly, sometimes you want to fiddle about with them. So I shall finish that one off and do this one, and then I'll finish them. Yeah, I'll come up, finish this bit off. A bit too far for me to strand along the back. That's just my personal choice. If I haven't edited this bit out, well, you're just going to see a funny view. Right. So I'll do this last one on this little grouping, and then I'll do those other 2 flowers as well. Usually sort of gives them a little wiggle once they get on the needle. Just sort of sort themselves out. I'm going to pull that one over a bit and it can go down there. Oh, they look lovely. I've finished them off, and just at that point Boo decided to join the proceedings. Didn't you, Boo? Turn the camera around. Hey, didn't you decide to join the proceedings? You're a tinker, aren't you? Hey? Always stopping the work. I hope you enjoyed seeing that addition to the little rose wreath. Petal stitch is very, very pretty. It is easier to do. I hope I've managed to make it look like it's something you can accomplish, because you can. It isn't very difficult. Just take it slowly, use your pin for the length, and there isn't really anything very difficult. It just comes together. You'll amaze yourself if you haven't done it before, and it looks so pretty. I'm still leaving this extra bit of fabric on here until I finish this page. It's hard to believe this is June now, and that it's not long till midsummer. Yeah, the UK hasn't had much good weather so far yet. So I hope the sunshine that you can see out of the window there, I hope that actually continues a bit longer. I quite like to do some stitching outside, or some knitting, or some gardening, or anything. It's coming along. Really hope you're getting on really well with your page. Actually making me want to do something else just with the little motif. I might actually do that, and if I do get the time to do a little project just using these few stitches, I think that would be quite nice. Sort of a little, like a little lavender sachet, or just something pretty, something you could give as a gift to someone, or just for yourself. I stitch just for myself, well, and for my sister, and for my friend. You know what I mean. You can stitch for yourself, just as you can stitch. You're allowed to stitch gifts, especially for yourself, if that's what you want to do, and I quite often do. Thanks for watching, and hopefully sending me the like and the subscribe, which I always forget to say, but I'm supposed to say all the things you're supposed to do. You know what the drill is, and I appreciate everything, comments, likes, anything at all. And I will see you on Sunday with, oh yes, I know exactly what I'm going to see you on Sunday with, and I'll keep it a secret till then, and you'll see what it is. Thanks everyone. Bye from Marion's World.